good evening, everybody. This is Kanuki. I will be your recapper for Division 5D this season. And with me, I won't say as always, but at least for tonight, is a good friend of the show. Here is Lord Brainlord.
Hello, everybody. It's me.
So I have specifically targeted this division for recapping for reasons we'll get into a bit later, but I think it is going to be one of the standout Div 5, GMan 5 divs that we have, just based on the quality of some of the coaches here and some entertaining teams. Of course, we're still missing one. Old Yella, who is my old division mate from last season. Boo. And despite many threats to his life and some halfling assassins, we have still not had a ticket accepted. But the rest of the div is looking good. They've all got their tickets accepted. They're all hovering around the 1,000 to 3,000 mark, as you'd expect, having all played 4 greenhorn games apiece. And shall we just dive in and take a look at the teams?
Absolutely, that's what we're here for.
Exactly. So first up we have the first of our many alliterative H-named teams, the Hungry Harmonies of the Dr. Nick. Not just Dr. Nick, the Dr. Nick.
He's the Dr. Nick, yeah, absolutely. He was had the last of his Underworld in my div last
very
season.
good. Yes, I remember his Underworld team fondly. There was quite a few good Underworld coaches who have sadly respun into non-Underworld teams, but I'm sure we'll have an Underworld revival at some point in the future.
But there's definitely a sort of a generation, that's coming to a bit of a close now.
Yeah, and everyone waiting for BB3 on the horizon. But first up, let's take a look at Dr. Nick's Orc team, which is coming in at a sharp 12:30 after its 4 greenhorn games, and that looks like 2 wins and a draw and a loss for them in greenhorn. 37 injuries inflicted, including 3 CAS, and so that's looking like a good toll for the Orcs. And they come in with on Mango Chutney Hill with a troll of all things, and a guard troll at that.
He's a fan of sort of musical song title puns, and Bumful of Rashes was in fact his old storm vermin.
It was, so he was recycled some of the names indeed.
It's like one of the best names in GMan, I think.
And I do like House of the Raisin Buns as well. It's quite...
He's got a real talent for these things.
All right. And Corn Slippy, very nice as well. And Corn Slippy has gone straight for Agi, which, as you would expect, of course. And then...
Gotta take it if you get it.
Yeah. And then nothing on the Black Orcs in terms of levels yet. House of the Raisin Buns has the
I'm
one.
Guessing that's 2 MVPs probably. You never know.
Could be, yeah.
Gratuitous if so.
Yeah,
that's nice to have.
And then maybe 2 Kaz from the Korma, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, could have been 4 passes. We don't know, but probably.
Yeah, more likely the former. But what do we think? I think the only controversial thing for me, or a couple controversial things, would be a troll without a goblin. It's like milk without chocolate or something.
I think we'll see a goblin because there's not quite room. I think if you want like a sensible start, you don't quite. So I'm guessing the goblin will emerge, but probably
with an entertaining name.
Absolutely, and I mean he's been playing Underworld. We're going to see a goblin. I'd be very surprised.
And keeping that the possibility of the Orc 1 turn alive. And if you're going to roll with a troll, you might as well bring the full components along.
They're not very expensive, are they?
No, 40k I think. Just so the only.
I'm not even sure it's that much. Yeah,
I think it is.
I should know it. Sort of
40, but I think it's just marginally cheaper than alignment. But I'd have to go back and check at that.
Well, yeah, we're not going to do that level
of course not. No. And the other controversial thing for me, not controversial, but just maybe fortunate / unfortunate, is that Corn Slippy, having picked up the Agi is now more likely to become the team's ball carrier, but you're still carrying Common Pickles as a one SPP thrower, i.e. ball carrier. Do you bother keeping Common Pickles around for the extra 70K just for sure hands, or do you just pick up sure hands as your next level on Corn Slippy?
I think you could go either way. What I would suspect is we'll probably see Common Pickles holding the ball and then handing off to Corn Slippy for touchdowns, especially early on.
Yeah.
So you can still use him as a blitzer, which is nice when you don't have all that much block, but he will still get the 2+ catch for a score. Long term, you could definitely get rid of Common Pickles, but I think having sure hands is pretty nice early on.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I don't hate it.
Yeah, on Agi 3 teams, that's pretty crucial. And well, there's one Agi 4 now. He's got his Apo, and yeah, pretty solid looking orc team. Of course, the only thing you'd always want to see, but he's got a couple who are close, Korma Maybe and King Kumquat, both within short range of a Kaz.
Getting guard on the troll after Greenhorn, that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, not as good as block, but we'll take that.
No, but yeah, 9 SVP, good stuff.
And a very experienced coach and a good coach, so I'm expecting big things.
And a nice guy as well. He's got a good attitude. I can see him playing orcs. It makes sense. He's that kind of coach. He's not going to play some joyless Chauve team. So glad he's playing orcs. Feels appropriate.
Excellent. All right, moving on to another very experienced coach as well in GMan and the ReBBL generally. We have Irwindor with his old brothers in arms, and I'm not sure if that's a Dire Straits reference or what it is, but that's a Kramering team of 1270 and with a chunk of change in the bank as well. So he's had a pretty good greenhorn, it looks like. And what do we have on the team? Well, we have a Blodge Throw Raw.
That's very nice.
That's is very nice. And then I'm going to call it now, the controversial pick, taking strength over block on the Tomb Guardian. Is it proper value for that?
Well, there is. I was thinking of this because obviously, the standard idea is you get more use out of block, although strength is more fun. But there is with Tomb Guardians, because they don't have the nega trait, you can pick up break tackle as your next skill and cage dive on a 2+, which that's really something. And you'll get 2 dice on your own. Like, that is just not a lot of teams have anything like that.
I'm just going to say movement 4 right out of the box. Cage diving is...
It is movement 4. But I mean, you can take the GFIs. You don't have Loner. So it's like, it's not that bad. And it's just, it's an extra tool in the box that nobody is set up to deal with, really.
True
so
enough.
I definitely don't hate it. Although block would also be very good.
Yeah, but Tomb Guardians don't tend to hang around a long time in my experience, just because they do get uphilled or one-died, and they have decay, which means they often fall down and despite AV9 go boom. So you're going to be constant. I don't see Tomb Guardians regularly getting beyond 2 or 3 levels before they're cycled.
It's a combination of, they got regen obviously, but decay and leveling up slowly.
Yeah.
It's sad.
It's painful days. But yeah, really good in Amun, the Blodge throw raw. He's running 2 throw raws, which is you don't always see in a starting team. I'm not sure when the second was picked up. 1 blitz raw has run away to 8 SPP and picked up, of course, Mighty Blow on the first pick, and 1.
Presumably going to continue running away with it.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part, isn't it? When you get 1 blitzer or blitz raw who picks up the Mighty Blow first, you're always going to be blitzing with him.
And I think Kramering particularly are very vulnerable to that because their players are all so bad.
Yeah.
When it's slightly good, you're going to really want it.
Yeah. So we didn't get the plus Agi on the Amun, the throw raw, but maybe the other one picks up plus Agi and becomes a somewhat more reliable ball carrying piece. But yeah, they are just painfully slow to play and have weird things like decay that just means... It can be a painful experience as a Kramering coach sometimes.
I do like Kramering. I would like to say I'm a fond of him.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, the blitzer costing like 90k for that stat line that's just criminal to me. That's.
And then the skeletons, and you just pick up a bit of dirty player on all of them until they die, basically, of decay.
Well, it looks like he started 2 throw raw, 1 blitzer. So it's it's Satet that came in late. He's only played 2 games.
Right. Okay.
Surprising to me.
Yeah. But yeah, that'll work. Yeah, I'd usually go with 2 blitzers and 1 throw raw instead. And it just makes it easier to push some SPP onto your blitzers early before you get a stellar throw raw who's going to steal all the SPP like you do now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just having 2 block is always nice.
But good record in Greenhorn with 3 wins and 1 draw, so no losses.
That is good.
Yeah, very nice. Not that the SPP counts more than the results often, but
7 touchdowns as well. I mean, for Kramering.
Yeah, that's
wow,
totally solid. So he's really going for it. Absolutely.
Like you say, very experienced coach. So
yeah. We'll be seeing
to be expected.
Good things from that team, I think. And then, what do we have next? Jester and more H. We'll have a lot of alliterative H sort of derbies in the league this year. We're between these teams here with the Horror Hordes necromantic team also pulling in around 1280. I'm going to assume, that's got a full roster, of course.
It's a team that gets expensive quickly,
Yeah.
Oh, yep, look at Pantera there, right?
So we have a very heavy metal themed, straight up necro team, Judas Priest, except I'm not familiar with, but most of the rest, yes. So we've got, in terms of levels, of course, we have a Mighty Blow werewolf already on the first level.
Yep, of course. I barely even have to note that.
No, exactly. It's just like, isn't that a normal now in Rebel? It's just standard.
They come with it, maybe.
Pretty much. Or at least hidden Mighty Blow. And then we've got already, after 4 games, a piling on Mighty Blow white and a second guard white. So those, I think those 3 pieces, especially to me, just jump out as the stellar players in this team, of course. But
17 SPP on a white, that's not too shabby.
That's
there
good
must
going.
be some MVPs in there or something. Because that's a lot. That is good going.
And he's got 6 touchdowns, no kills. Yeah, it has to have been MVPs from that, it looks like. Where were we? And but yeah, then Oblage Ghoul is pretty nice as well. Looks like he went with the Ghoul early. I know there's some other necro coaches who like to focus development on the werewolves and the whites first before picking up the Ghoul, who then...
Yeah, I think it's definitely uncommon to take the Ghoul early, but I like the Ghoul.
Yeah, Blodge is nice, and you can pick up some other funky skills for them as they develop from there, which they inevitably will. But yeah, I'd still like to see, especially on Accept, a bit more development on the werewolf, but overall, looking like a fairly solid necro team.
He's been focusing, I'm just looking up that Pantera, so he's got 2 touchdowns and 3 CAS and 1 MVP, but he has been pumping up his killer.
Very good, yeah. But so if he keeps that up, maybe he switches focus from the whites to the werewolves now that they've got a few basic skills, they would start looking pretty good.
Yeah, I expect we'll see that as a focus, and I mean, it's necro, isn't it? They're pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty good right out of the box, and they develop the skills they need on the players they need fairly quickly. And don't need, other than the Mighty Blow on the werewolves, they don't need doubles much across the board.
No, yeah. The guard zombies are nice, but you tend to get them whether you like it or not, so don't have to worry about it too much.
Nope. All right, we're swiftly moving along to one of our recapper favorites, and a massive recapper himself back in the day, Dreamify, with his Chaos team, Dream Guard.
He's taking his own branding.
Yeah, he's put it right on the tin. And
I'm famous for being the #1 Dreamify fan. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
There he goes.
So I'm big fan of this guy.
Yeah, he's a
Very
really nice guy, very classy, and he's been giving a lot to the Rebel community over the years. So, going to be great fun having him in this div that I'm recapping. Need to Pee, a Beastman. I like that name. Frantic Search, Evil Twin. So these are things that you're seeing in your dreams, vaguely remembered dreams, a dream of unrealized ambition.
Yes.
These sort of thematic things that will enter into your sleep state and penetrate your mind. But
It's a
yeah,
concept team. I love it.
it's high. It's a high level concept team indeed. But I like this Chaos team actually, and how he's managed to focus a lot of early development on the Chaos Warrior. He's got 2 with block taking the first levels already, and then a very good. I think it's an excellent skill to get if you can roll it. Is the movement up on a Beastman, which the Chaos do suffer a bit from being a tiny bit slow, and so having a ball carrier especially who could jump into that role, and I think then you slap sure hands and block on this guy, and he's going to develop as your primary ball carrier, and he would be pretty close.
Already been pumping the SPP on there. Very nice to see. And yeah, I think, as I say, movement is like the best thing to have on a ball carrier. So getting that sorted out, and any more doubles down the road would be great, but he'll be fine just with normals from now on. He'll still be very nice.
Yeah.
Looks like we've had some guys die, unless this is just an avant-garde roster arrangement.
Yeah, he's actually short a player. So he
down
must
a guy, haven't we? Yeah.
He's down to 10. So he's actually going to be at 1,160 with the loner for his starting.
That looks more in
round.
line. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is not bad because Chaos is often falls away early on. So
yeah, but he's
keeping up with that early development.
He's already picked up his Apo. He's got 130K in the bank, so I would just start hiring a couple. I would even get 2 benchmen to have beastmen to have 1 bench right off the bat, and then good to go. I mean, loners will do the job, but you might as well have them rostered and not have to worry about loner or having to hire them afterwards.
They had 2 guys die. Get permed and binned.
Yeah.
Which would make sense with the 2 gaps, and I guess Tetris Effect is the first. So I'm sure we'll see more come in. He's probably just waiting to see who his first opponent is before he goes crazy.
Precisely. All right. But Dreamify, good guy, good coach. And Chaos, of course, early Chaos are a bit problematic. They really do better with another 300-400 TV under their belt, but if he can, with that plus movement beast, develop that into a solid ball carrier, get their other levels, get the block on the Warriors, and then the team starts to gel pretty quickly.
Yeah, I think it's mostly a mindset thing, isn't it? I think because they're not that bad. They're quite boring to play early on. So it's like just being able to focus and actually just slug through it all. Dreamify's a very level-headed guy, and he's been around the block, so I think he'll handle that fine.
Yeah,
and get up and running.
Wouldn't say they're boring to play. They can be frustrating to play with all of the 1 and 9s. They tend to
they just got no skills, I guess.
No,
and
like
they are also just all very average. I would say they're pretty boring early. TV 1000.
Yeah.
Compared to, I'd say they're pretty dull.
And I think Irwindor and Dreamify are both Swedish, or at least based in Sweden. So we'll have a bit of a
Swede off
Scandinavian. if we're not getting the H offs, then we'll get the Swede offs. And I think there's a Dane. Is it Grimner? Might be a Danish-based coach as well.
Well, you've done more research than me. I only know. I think Dr. Nick is in British, and Dreamify Swedish is all I need from this lot.
And Viking Cop, from Spain, yeah. Jester, I think was. I can't remember exactly. All right, let's move on to our 5th team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Possibly Danish.
Possibly Danish, we think. I'll check again. I'll get to know all of you much better after this pre-cap, and you'll yell at me in chat and say, I'm not Danish, I'm somewhere else.
Couldn't think of a second
country. I'm from Lithuania. There we go.
I bet Lithuanian in my div, so it could happen.
Well, there you go.
They're out there.
They are. All right. We have an undead team. And it is coming in at 1,200. So that's on the slightly lower end, around the same as the Chaos, though. So not too far off. But once the Chaos get, a few more players, who knows? But coming in at 13 players, so he's definitely got the deep bench strategy and probably going to foul the bejesus out of everything. But more or less a bit light on levels.
It's light, but you can get the sort of, because they're good early under. You got that efficiency. Like, he has more dodge and block than most of the teams have looked at despite because they just come with them.
Yep. We got the 2 whites, and then the mummies, and then ghouls with all the dodge. That ghoul has picked up a niggle, however.
Yeah, that's annoying, but I think he's got block early on. You just keep him until he dies.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because why not? Yeah, it's still too useful to have blodge.
Somebody will kill him eventually. And then...
But it might be a while. We haven't seen any tackle yet, so...
No, exactly. I'm not sure I like the plus strength on the zombie. What do you think about that pick?
Yeah, I mean, you'd probably think guard, but it's plus strength, isn't it? I think there's definitely a school of thought that says always take all stats, no matter what. And it's not necessarily wrong.
Not necessarily wrong,
but,
not necessarily right.
You're not going to blitz with him, but he is useful to stick in a line and be harder to block, I would say.
Came through Greenhorn with a 3-0-1 record, including a kill. How many touchdowns? Yeah, 6, so 1.5 touchdowns per game. 7 casualties inflicted. So yeah, this was doing some damage already, and will probably continue to do so either in official play or in the sneaky in-between turns with the fouling boots on.
I think that, keeping that TV low, he's got a bench, possibility for some bribes, heavy fouling game.
Yeah.
I think he'll have a nice time.
Yeah, and I don't know much about the coach. I believe he's new this year to the ReBBL, so Grimnir Rotgut will have to see, but it doesn't look like he's had much problems in his Greenhorn game so far, and we'll be looking forward to see what he can do. And
absolutely, get to know him a little better.
Indeed. And here's a coach that needs no introduction, especially from either of us, Viking Cop, who is, well, let's just say it is essentially the reason that I'm recapping this, the Viking Cop being my old mentor as a Chaos coach, and he was so inspired by me as a mentee that he's followed me from Chaos into playing Pro Elves, and probably is going to hate me for it eventually, but here we have the state of his team.
I mean, the fact he's 4 games in, this team already looks like this.
It already looks like a Pro Elf team.
Pro Elves. Yeah. He's got in there early. You've got like 4 great players, and that's it.
And that's it. Yeah, he's both. I think was it after his 3rd Greenhorn game that he took an absolutely stupid number of amazing level ups that were either doubles or they were stats.
Yeah, these he had that one in he made goblins or something, and he won like was it literally 8-0,
7-0 or something like that, or 7-1 maybe.
And just got an unbelievable amount of SEP, and which is like he doesn't actually have dodge on his blitzes yet.
7-1, so it was
exclusively 7-1. Actually, fine.
It was the last game he played, actually, yeah. So that was the 7-1 and got that.
So he hasn't even got to play out with all these guys yet.
No. Still got badly hurt and missed next game.
Oh, that's fine.
Of course.
No terms yet. Not bad.
Just dead. Just dead.
Just dead. That's the way.
But yeah, plus movement on Michael Maverick is very nice, but then having both guard and mighty blow on the other blitzer.
He's like slightly in danger of he needs to roll some normals.
Yeah, he needs dodge in a hurry on both blitzers.
You really want dodge on both those guys, which is actually it's quite a long way away now, especially for Modern Meteor.
Yeah, you've put it off this long just because you're rolling doubles and stats.
Too busy. But he's got dodge onto the 2 catches, and one of them is Agi5, which is amazing. That's already a very useful player.
Super useful. And so now I would say he's got 130k in the bank. Now would be the time, especially having only 1 catcher for his first game, to bite the bullet and take the 3rd catcher. So you at least are starting the next round with 2.
Yeah, playing with 1 catcher is not a nice time, especially when they don't have block.
No, because the loner lineman can do the same job of standing on the line and taking hits as a rostered player. So it's a bit risky, but he's got the Apo already. I would go for the third catcher already now.
Yeah, if the other one wasn't MNG, I'd be tempted to wait, but I think now is as good a time as any.
Yeah, and of course another double to get Ronald Rogan, a guard lineman already, which is just disgusting. He's in 4 games got. Well, I don't have any guard on my team, so he has many times more than 0. than
It comes and goes. I've had guard and I've lost it again, but it's very nice to have early on.
Yeah.
It'll really come in handy, especially against some of the stronger teams that he's got to look forward to.
Yeah, and the only criticism I hate is thrower, but that's just how I, as a pro elf coach, would rather build a pure thrower first.
Yeah, that's definitely not the thrower that you want.
Oh God, Neb! A wild Neb has appeared. Welcome.
I've seen this kind of thrower before, and he did not end up well. I can tell you that.
This is the sort of the super base thrower. He likes the block sure hands, and this is using the thrower as basically the glorified lineman who occasionally throws, which is legitimate.
Yep.
But it's certainly not anyone
You
knows
don't
me.
like-
It's not the
You
real.
don't like low percentage play styles.
But I would
This is
prefer.
playing the numbers.
Yeah, I would prefer that on the
What?
second thrower rather than the first one you start out of the gate with. But that said, it's actually easier to develop the throwing thrower because he's making the vanity passes and the regular passes regularly. Regular passes
I
regularly.
also prefer taking dodge before edgier, if I could.
Yeah, if you can, but will you take Agi when you can?
Yeah, you can't. You're not going to turn down Agi 5 at any
I would
stage of
do them the other
anyone.
way around, really.
That would be in an ideal world.
In an
But
ideal
yeah, it
world.
looks like he's managed that just fine.
Yeah.
He hasn't vanity passed that much, has he? So maybe he's just not going to be a passing elf, perhaps.
Yeah, he's got
58 yards. That's
14
like
catches.
that's 2 passes.
Oh, I
in
did
my
not.
book.
I did not realize this was Viking Cop. I take back everything I said. There was no.
Who did you think it was?
And second to last, because we do have a mystery team after our last.
I've got to go, guys. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, thanks for
It's like breaking out in the pub.
Enjoyed
over
that
by
cameo appearance.
thanks for crashing the stream. Yep. We'll see
There's
you
a
soon.
fight over by the barrel, and I need to deal with it in the pub.
Oh, good luck with that.
Good luck with that. All right. So that was Neb the Foremost, everybody. He'll be popping in like that crazy neighbor on every sitcom, peeking over the fence occasionally.
He's the Kramer
Yeah.
of this podcast.
And then we have Bump or Bum C. I'm not
I was thinking it's called bump.
with the expression "yes" in his for his team motto.
I like that motto.
Yeah, we haven't looked at the stadium names. We should check those out later before.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Good point. Maybe
Yeah,
save that for a
hopefully
treat.
we have one like Stadium.
One of my all-time favorites.
We have a Dark Elf team.
What is it with Dark Elf coaches and default names? It's like half of the teams have got default names. What's up with that?
We're gonna have to have a word. So he's gonna be drummed out of ReBBL for having default names. He did have a witch elf die to a witcher, perhaps, in the first game. So he's had to, or she, I don't know. We shouldn't gender specify any of these coaches. But Stiletta has had to be the second witch of this team, which explains why he's, or she, or whoever, they are all standing on 3 blitzers and 2 rerolls still.
So went for the 3-1 2 reroll start, and that is such a pain to lose a witch elf. But yeah, I mean, I had a very similar start myself. I know how he is.
Yeah.
And he's managed to get, I would say, pretty solid development considering.
Solid development overall. He's got the only tackle I think we've seen in the
That is,
division.
I believe that is the only tackle, which is pretty nice
Yep.
as a result.
And so that could be pretty handy in a lot of the matchups with those ghouls running around and elves and things like that. So who knows? We don't have.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's. I make this comment every recap one, but Dark Elves, they just take block, dodge, and sidestep.
Yep,
That's it.
that's
Don't they?
just-
That's,
there's
that's
the
just what
formula.
they do.
And
They've
then
got the default names, and they just take them.
but we didn't get a mighty
I do
blow
like
witch right off the start.
Actually, yeah, he's. I mean, yeah, partly that's like compared to like Viking Cop, say. not had the luck with the doubles and setups,
No.
so you can't really be blamed too much. But those two linemen very close. That's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, normally I would say a bit too much focus on the lineman development than the positionals, but it's Dark Elves, so the linemen are almost as good as your blitzers.
Yeah, although one movement slower, it's not too much to write home about.
No. All right, so yeah, another newish coach. I'm sure I've played them in some rookie spin league, and they've been in ups, or perhaps it was upstarts. So they've been around the rookie league for a bit, but I believe
So coming up.
yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know
I've definitely
if,
seen them around in the Discord and so on.
yeah,
So
I don't
name
think
I'm
they've
familiar with.
necessarily gone through the whole college minors route, but at least had some experience in the rookie affiliate type leagues before coming up to the main Rebel this season. So looking forward to. I mean, it's Dark Elves. They're expensive. They're occasionally prone to having players like, especially Witch Elves, get their heads stomped on, but they're a top tier team, and hopefully Bumsy can do well with them. Indeed. So now for the final, we'll switch back in a minute, but I'm going to do some technicalities. We'll get rid of the Blood Bowl client and switch over to see our final team in rebel.net. Thank you, Major Byte. Which is our old friend, Old Yella. And I played against Old Yella last season in Div 5 with his human team. What were they called? Something Ravagers?
I don't think they're called. I recapped this team as well, so I should really know. But let's just pull up some old notes maybe that I've got knocking around on my.
You'll come back to the name, but anyway, they had a very fun human team. They didn't maybe have as much success as possible, possibly thanks to their idiot of a ogre patriot who was finally gunned down by halfling assassins, and it seems
I think Old Yella is probably responsible for the least coherent that my recaps ever got. Ostermark Ravens.
Ostermark Ravens, yeah, that was it. So now it seems the rest of the humans on the team have also fallen suit and fallen victim to the halfling assassins and been turfed to the side in favor of a handy little Nurgle team that's clocking in at 1110 TV. And what do we have in terms of this team? We have a stand firm beast of Nurgle called Fluffy.
Great first skill.
Very good. And we have a Niggled Nurgle. Say that 10 times fast. Niggled Nurgle warrior. And then no development on, to speak of, at least no levels at least, on any of the Nurgle warriors. A bit disconcerting, but they're hard to level. They're probably one of the hardest players to level, being Agi 2 and really only getting SPP from bashing on stuff. And when you don't have block, it's hard to bash on stuff.
Well, he has scored a touchdown with a aged Agassi.
Okay, so that's...
So there's been some effort gone into it.
Good. Yeah, that does look... Yeah, there seems to be a TD there. Yeah, we can confirm that.
We've a Guard Rotter as well. I don't know if you wouldn't want to miss that.
Of course, Guard Rotter, which is disgusting and only good. It looks like... Has he scored on the Rotter as well?
Let's have a look at that.
Three injuries.
Wow, yeah, he's been scoring Kaz.
So it's 2 Kaz and an MVP.
Yeah, he's all 4 of his MVPs have gone on Rotters, which that really
kind of sucks. Yeah,
considering that's like 80% of your SPP as a rookie Nurgle team.
And you definitely want to have that landing, if not on the Nurgle Warriors, then on the one pesty he has, which has all of 1 SPP from my take of Vanity Pass. Yep, indeed. So some fun names and decent, but it hasn't maybe benefited from quite, probably thanks to those MVPs landing on all the Rotters, hasn't developed quite as quickly as some of the other competitors.
I mean, it's no, this is going to be a long season for all the other, or even 2 seasons often before they really get going. So again, it's a lot of mindset. You've just got, as long as you're willing to do it, you'll have a nice team eventually, but this season's going to suck. There's no question about it.
But you put your head down and you do your best you can, get those levels, and make life awkward for the rest of the coaches in your div.
Absolutely, yeah. You've got things you can do, especially against other new teams. It's not like it's completely hopeless, but it's quite hopeless. Definitely medium.
It's quite hopeless. And so then back to the client, and we'll take a look at the div again. I don't think we'll go into the stadiums. We can do that on another recap. Stadium special.
Ooh, a 3 hour.
3 hour stadium special. Looking forward to that. But maybe just some general predictions who you think might do well from this division and emerge as potential playoff favorites.
I mean, for me, I'm mostly, because there's a lot of coaches I don't know, and so I'm mostly going off the teams. So you've got, and the elves and the undead will start pretty strong, whereas chaos and stuff not so much. Orcs kind of medium. So, yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised to see the Grimnir or Bump or Viking Cop shooting up the rankings early on.
Yeah. To me, I mean, based on the coaches I know, yeah, it is a struggle. Like Dreamify, good coach. Irwindor, good coach. Dr. Nick, good coach. Okay, yeah, I think Dr. Nick maybe has one of the better combinations of skill and the team behind it. But Viking Cop is very much a dark horse, I think. Another excellent coach. He's been, of course, a regular in GMan 1 in the playoffs all the time. Of course, he's almost always played with his chaos. So this is a bit of a new learning, and the team is a bit beaten up, but I think he's emerging from what I've seen as a very good
I think we've been watching his Greenhorn team games as loyal members of the union, and it feels like he's taken to it pretty quickly. He's already he's suffered through the classic inopportune snakes and stuff, so he's reading that out. But I would say Irwindor as well. I mean, 7 touchdowns in 4 games as Ricky Kramering.
Yeah.
It stands out to me. So I think he could be a bit fearsome.
I'd go with
that. So
basically,
I think everyone's going to do well. Don't know anything about Jester, but he's Necro. Dreamify is playing Chaos, but he's very good. So it's hard to call for me.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting
the Dr. Nick, he was like playing Underworld and doing pretty well. Doing better than me in Div 3. So playing like a more competitive team makes him a threat as well. All I would say is old Yella with his poor rookie Merkel is going to be down the bottom. It's going to happen. Doesn't matter who's coaching them.
Yeah, and once the other teams start to, like the orcs especially, start to pick up tackle, then things might turn a little bit bad for Bump and his Dark Elves, but Bump and Grimnir not knowing the coaches as well, but of course Undead is looking like a pretty solid team, and Dark Elves play pretty smoothly out of the gate. But yeah, so looking forward to seeing what the coaches will do. I'll be back in about a week. I'll try to recap on Wednesday nights mostly. I don't do a Twitch kind of format live, but I sort of record and then do a bit of messing around, so I can do some post edits as well. Occasionally I'll
check those out. Yeah. Get in for a treat with those viewers.
I can't promise the same levels of crazy production I tried to achieve in the training grounds last season, but we'll see. I'll come up with some interesting stuff, and occasionally invite you guys on as a guest. Various coaches I know, like Viking Cop and Dreamify, but others I'll look forward to getting to know and bring you guys on and get your insights into how you think the season's going. So looking forward.
Quite possibly some random Elven Union coaches.
dropping in unannounced. Indeed.
So yeah, you never know. It could be anybody popping up.
All right. So I thank my very special guest, Lord Brainlord, Lord ReBBL, for jumping in today.
Yeah, thank you very much, and I'll probably be back now and again to offer my terrible insights, and thanks very much for having me.
Excellent. I'll see you all guys next week. Take care now. Bye.